Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining the reporting webinar today. I'm just going to give a couple of minutes here for everybody to join. So feel free to grab a drink or anything. Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar session. We're going to be going over reporting in Lightspeed X-Series and how to get the best out of those reporting features that we have. My name is Obed, and joining us today is also Jessa, Kara, and Anna. They're going to be helping answer any questions you might have. So before we start the webinar, I did want to go over a couple of things to keep in mind. The first one is the presentation is going to continue without a pause. So I'm just going to keep going, but any questions you might have, feel free to use the Q&A feature on Zoom, and our Jessa, Kara, or Anna will answer your questions. Something else to keep in mind is that if you have any questions that are specific to your store, feel free to contact our support team using the help button in your store. You will find that at the top right corner of the screen. So if you have a question that's very specific to your store, maybe like you have a feature in your reporting, or you're looking to add something to your store, feel free to reach out to our support team. But other than that, I'll just start the webinar right away. So first, I wanted to go over the agenda and all of the different information that we're going to be covering today. So we're going to be discussing the different reporting types that we offer at Lightspeed, the home dashboard, the sales report, payments report, inventory report, and the tax report. So to start, we're going to go over the two different types of reporting that we offer at Lightspeed X-Series. So the two options that you have is advanced reporting and basic reporting. They will be available depending on your plan, and some plans might have basic reporting, you might have advanced reporting. That will be different depending on your specific store, but I will go over what's included on every plan. So to start with, if we want to go over basic reporting and what's included in basic reporting, first of all, basic reporting is available on every plan, and automatically on the lean and standard plans, you will have basic reporting, and that will include the following report types and measures. So with basic reporting, you will have access to the home dashboard, the sales reports, the payment reports, and the Lightspeed payment reports. Those two reports are a little bit different. Payment reports, it's an overview of your payments. Lightspeed payments report is more specific to your own Lightspeed payments account. So if you are signed up to Lightspeed payments with Lightspeed, you can use this report to view any payouts, any transactions that are going through, everything related to Lightspeed payments. You will also have access to your register closure report, gift card, store credit, and tax rate reports. So this is all that's included in the basic report. On top of that, on the sales report itself, we have different report types that are available. So the basic reporting types on the sales report include sales history, sales summary, the customer groups, promotions, and sales channels. So the report type, you can think of it as how you are going to group your information on that report. So in the sales summary report, it will give you, like the name implies, just a quick summary of all of your sales. But if you have customer groups, for example, let's say you have a VIP customer group or maybe employee purchasing groups, you can filter your sales report specifically for those groups. Or if you're running a promotion, for example, you can also filter it by promotions. And lastly, sales channels. This will only apply if you have an e-commerce store set up with your Lightspeed account. So for example, if you're using Lightspeed E-Series, which integrates with X-Series, you can split the sales data into the sales channel reporting. So if you only want to view information that's on your website, you can go by on the sales channel and you can filter that data further. And then on the basic reporting sales report, you can also add different measures to your reporting. So if you want to see how many sales were made for a specific product, you can also filter the report by revenue and revenue including tax. So by default, the report will show you the revenue without any tax, but if you want to include tax, you can also add that measure. It will include gross profit, margin percentage, discounted and discounted percentage, and tax measure. So discounted and discounted percentage are a little bit different. Discounted will be the amount that you've discounted during a specific time period. Discounted percentage will be what percentage of the sales have been discounted. Now, on advanced reporting, we do have two different plans that are automatically have advanced reporting included. So if you have an advanced plan or an enterprise plan, all of those, both of those plans will include all of the basic reporting options plus advanced reporting. If you have a standard plan, you do also have the option to add a module to your plan if you only want to get access to advanced reporting. But if you had the advanced or enterprise plan, you can automatically add it to your, or you will automatically have access to advanced reporting features. So what does advanced reporting give you? First of all, the home dashboard that's included on your basic reporting, you will have access to customize that dashboard. You will also have access to the retail dashboard. And the retail dashboard is basically all of the different reports that you might have merged into one screen. So if you quickly want to glance at different reports, you can use the retail dashboard for that. And then the biggest difference between the two is you will have access to the inventory reports. Basic reporting doesn't have access to inventory reporting, but advanced reporting includes that. So inventory reports, there will be a couple of them that are added by default. So that will be their summary reports, replenishment and performance. We will also include does the inventory sell through, recently out of stock, and inventory types. So we'll go over the different reports later, but you can see here a quick summary of the different inventory reports that are available. And on top of that, you will get the ability to compare periods between the reports. So for example, if you want to compare how a certain product is selling, this month compared to last month, or this time last year, how that product was selling, that will be included in your advanced reporting as well. And then lastly, you'll have additional report types and measures on your sales report. So anything that was included on basic reporting will be included. And then on top of that, you can filter down your sales report a lot more to be a bit more specific. So if you want to run the report for specific products or separate it by the users in your store, so maybe your store works with commission or anything like that, you can filter that report by your users and see how much revenue or how many sales each of your employees are making of that product. You will also have access to customers, brand, categories, tags, register, outlets. So you can filter that report quite a bit further with advanced reporting. And then you will also have access to additional measures. So if you are interested in knowing about the cost of goods, how many returns you're making for a specific product, how many customers or how many sales are being sold per customer, all of that will be included in your advanced reporting. Some of the other features or measures would be items sold, average item per sale, first sale, last sale date. So it does give you the ability to drill down a little bit further into your reporting. So that will be advanced reporting. And there's two main key differences between the two reports. So advanced reporting gives you access to inventory reporting, as I mentioned. So it allows you to keep track of your cost. You might want to see what needs replenishing, which product is selling, and just get a better understanding of how your products are selling in the store. The other difference between basic reporting and advanced reporting is going to be additional report types and measures. So these measures that we went over in the last slide, they will allow you to filter your report a little bit further, and you can get a little bit more detailed information on your reports. The other difference between the two reporting types that we have is the option to customize your dashboard. So you can add a bit more customization on your home dashboard based on what's important to you at the time. So for example, if you're running a special promotion and the first thing you want to do when you come into your store during the day is see how the products in that promotion are doing, you're going to be able to customize that a little bit more. And you can see which are your best-selling items, how your team is doing. So as I mentioned, if you track commission for your for your employees, you can customize your dashboard to include that information. And then you also have the retail dashboard included. As I mentioned, it's a one-stop shop, and it will show you all of the reporting options or the different reports that you have all in one place. And then lastly, it does give you the ability to compare reports between, weekly, monthly, even hourly. So if you want to see how your product is selling throughout the day, you can add those different comparisons. So on the different reports that we offer, you're going to be able to use different types of filters. And something you'll find is the filtering themselves. We've tried to standardize it around across all of our reporting. So it's very familiar. You don't have to, learn different buttons or anything like that in your reporting. So you're going to find it's very, very similar between the different reports. And something that you're able to do in sales reports and inventory reports is create a custom report. So if you want to create your own reports that you want to go back to and keep accessing every day, you can go into your reporting. So for example, here you can go to the sales report and add the different filters that you would like to add. So for example, let's say you want to work in the sales report. You can choose the report type. And for example, here we choose the sales summary, the measure as revenue, and then a specific date range. And then all you have to do is click the save report button at the top of the screen, name it, and it will be included in the top tab here in your sales report. So you are able to create your own custom reports, save them, and make them available to your team. And as I mentioned on the previous slide, the sales, all of the reports actually, sales, inventory, payment, and tax report can be saved. So if you have anything specific that you want to report on all the time, you can do that. And as mentioned here, the save report button will only show if you haven't saved that report before. So if you've already saved that report, you don't need to, you won't see that save report option again. So that way you know that you're maybe adding, or you added some filters to your report and maybe you want to save it. Once you have saved your reports, you do have the option to either rename your reports or delete them. So it's not like they're there forever. You'll see the action buttons whenever you access your report, and you can choose to rename or delete it. Now, let's say you have a report and you've chosen a specific date range, but later on you decide that now you want to track a shorter date range, or you want to include different products to it. You can go into that report, make the changes that you like, and then if you click Save Report again, you'll have the option to either save it as a brand new report, or you can update your existing report. So having custom reports is quite useful, either to keep updating your report or just add multiple different reports. There's no limit at the moment on how many custom reports you can have. So feel free to give it a test. And if it doesn't work for you, you can reach out to our support team. But yeah, it's been quite useful, and we've gotten some good feedback from retailers. Another thing I wanted to mention is the date filtering on the report. So we have a couple of different types of ways to filter your report's date range. So for the first option is you're able to specify a period. So this option allows you to choose a date range based on the weekday, hour, quarter, or year, or month. So for example, if I want to look at the last 4 weeks, I can just go specify period, week, and the last 4 weeks. The other option is you can specify a specific date. So if you don't necessarily want to look at the same range all the time, and you want to add the specific dates, you can do that as well. You just have to choose specify date, and you can add a range up to 25 months. So if you do want to go longer than 25 months, just keep in mind there is a limit of 25 months. So you might have to split that report into 2 different ones. But yeah, so those would be the 2 different types of date filtering that we have. And lastly, all of the reports that we have will give you the option to export those reports. So you can export those reports to either a CSV file or an Excel file, depending on what you use. So if you want to keep that for the record, or maybe you like to work with the data yourself on a spreadsheet, you do have the option to export your reports. And something to keep in mind is the sales history itself. There's a limit of 1,000 sales that you can export at a time. So if you're exporting the sales report, there's no limit on that. But sales history, which is a little bit more detailed on specific sales, there's a little limit of 1,000 sales that you can export at a time. But I will go over the sales history itself so you can understand how that works. So next, I want to discuss the home dashboard. And that's something I mentioned earlier that's included on your basic reporting and also on advanced reporting. So the home dashboard, you can think of it as just a business at a glance every day. So it's the first thing you see when you open your account, and it will include real-time sales metrics. So everything you see here is going to be live data, and it will include revenue, profit, sales value. You can customize the time period, so you can go by month, by week, or by day. And depending on the type of store you have, the information shown on this on the home dashboard will be tax inclusive or tax exclusive. That will be specific to your store. So that's something to keep in mind. As I mentioned, you can filter your home dashboard by different date range. So you can go by month, by week, or by day. And you also have the option to filter it by specific outlets. So if your store has multiple outlets or locations, you can also filter the home dashboard by the specific location. Something to keep in mind is that by default, admin users in your store will have access to all outlets. So they will be able to filter by outlets or by a specific outlet. However, manager and cashier users will only have access to their specific outlets that they've been assigned. So if a manager only has access to 2 outlets, they will only be able to filter the home dashboard by those two outlets. So if you wanted to give a manager or a different user role more access to other locations, you can edit their permissions in the setup page. So now the first section of the home dashboard is going to be include all the information about your sales. So it will include the current sales data, the sales value, and the items per sale. And it will also compare it to the previous time period. So for example, in this case, you can see that this month the store has sold $175, but it will also add a comparison to the previous month. So in this case, the home dashboard is filtered by month. So it's going to show me how the sales were the previous month. If I change this to week, then you'll see the comparisons by week here. So it can be useful depending on what you're tracking to choose the correct date range and see the comparisons. And then if we move to the bottom section here, this section called Things to Know is going to give you the key performance metrics about your store. So it will give you sales performance on your products, but also on your targets. So if you have set specific targets for your store, you can take a look here and see which how your store is doing, what your top products sold are, and maybe how your different employees are contributing to all of your sales. So if you go to the home dashboard and you click Things to Know, you'll be able to add more metrics here. And then the other section that we have is called Things to Do. I'd like to call this Take Action section. So basically, anything on this section is going to be notifications that Lightspeed sends you based on any actionable things that you need to do in your store. So inventory notifications. So if you have an order that is pending to be received, that will show here. If you have multiple locations and you're transferring products between them and you haven't received them, you'll also get notifications here. And anything that needs to be actioned in your store, you'll see it in the Things to Do section. So next, we're going to go over the sales report and sales history. They go together, but they are in different sections. So to start, I'll go over the sales report. So the sales report can be used to track sales on daily, monthly, or weekly or annual basis. And you do, similar to the other reports or the filtering that I showed, you do have the option to specify your own dates, or you can specify a date period that you want to run the report for. You're also able to filter the sales report for specific products or product groups to see how they're doing. And you can use the sales report to make any decisions based on your current sales. If a product maybe is not doing great, if you want to keep it in your store or not. And again, you can find any trends based on customer purchase, depending on the different report types that you're using. You might want to track different information. So filtering on the sales report is going to be similar, again, to the other reports that we offer. So it does offer a couple different filters. And I'll go over the different filters here. So to start, the report type is going to be the most common filter that you're going to use. Here you can change how your information is grouped. So for example, if you want to only see, or if you want to see all of the sales in your store by a specific supplier, you can choose the supplier report type or a category. Maybe you tag your products a specific way. Let's say you're running a promotion and you're tagging all of your products that way. You can use the report type to filter that report. Or if you have e-commerce integrations, you can also filter the report only by those sales. Second is the report measured filters. So the report measure allows you to change the information that you're pulling on the report itself. So for example, if you are looking at return count, for example, you will be able to see how many returns you had at a specific time. A lot of these options, you'll see that you'll have discounted or discounted percentage, return count, return percentage. Those will be two different measures. So discounted will show you how much a product was discounted. Discounted percentage will give you how many or what percentage of all the sales had this product returned. So you can use the different measures here to get the information you need. Something on the sales report that's quite neat is that we have a couple of pre-saved reports for you already. So everybody will have access to this report. So you'll have summary, individual performance, and sales per hour. And then if you have advanced reporting, you will have access to comparison between time periods on your sales report. So if you're at a comparison on your report, you'll see also a percentage of time. So if it will add an additional column to your report, and it will be a lot easier to compare how your product is doing, maybe at this current time or previous time. For example, in this report, they have the report type by customer. So if you want to see, are your customers coming back? Are they purchasing more this month or maybe this year compared to previous year? You can add a comparison and see, right now my customers are not coming back, and you can make decisions based on that information. And on the sales report, you'll have the option to click more filters. This can be quite useful since it allows you to drill down the report even more. So in this case, if you click more filters, you'll be able to add specific brands or products or anything like that. So the report type will group the information by the specific report type. But if you want to only report, let's say for t-shirts in your store, you can click more filters, and you can include those only those products. Or you can also change this to exclude. And let's say I don't want to include t-shirts in my store for reporting. I only want to look at pants, for example. I can exclude specific products, and that will just customize my report a little bit further. And there's other options you can add here. So you can add a specific register, maybe a specific customer, anything like that you might have in your store. And then formatting the sales report, you'll see that you do have the option to format the report itself. It will allow you to arrange the columns by week, weekday, or hour. So if you are looking for a specific, you want to see how your maybe promotion did during the weekend or specific week, you can format it using this option here. So now if we go to sales history, it kind of goes hand in hand with the sales report. The sales report is going to give you just like a broad overview of how your store is doing. You'll gather all the totals. But now sales history is where you are going to manage all of your sales. So you can view more details on your sales. So let's say you want to see the different payment types, what products were included on a specific sale, or you want to run actions on your sales, like returning the sale, reprinting a receipt, editing a sale, or anything like that. You're going to want to go to your sales history. So you'll be able to view all the sale details, action returns, and you will also have up here, you'll see that you have process return or continue sale. So continue sale will give you the option to continue any on-account, lay-by, or part sales that you might have if you do use those options in your store. On the sales report, you'll be able to narrow down a little bit further on your sales if that's what you'd like to do. So the filters that you'll see here are going to be status. So the status is you can filter the report by on account sales, completed sales. Maybe you want to see only returned sales or anything like that. You can use the status here. The customer, pretty straightforward. Some stores use a lot of notes on their account. So the note or receipt field is quite useful. One tip that I always give is on the receipt or note field. If you have a customer coming back and you want to find a specific sale, if they have the receipt, you can scan the receipt right into this field, and they'll be able to you'll be able to find that sale much easier. You'll also have the option to filter the sales history by outlet, a specific user, or a date range. And then, as I mentioned, you'll have a lot more detail on your sales. So in the sales history, you can see all the product information, the payments. If a sale has had a return, you can find that information on there as well. You'll also find a link to the returned sale. And from sales history, you'll also be able to start any returns, make any edits to the payments, or continue open sales. You can also reprint any receipts from here. So if you have a customer coming back, they want a copy of the receipt, you can find it that way. So to process a return on a sale, you can go to the Process Return tab up here, click on the sale, and then you'll be able to return the sale here. So you can either refund the sale, or if you want to exchange it for something else, you would just add the product that you're exchanging it for, and Lightspeed will automatically change the button here from a refund to an exchange. Now, the Continue Sale tab, as I mentioned, will allow you to filter sales history only by sales that can be continued. So that's on account sales, lay-by, or part sales. And then from here, you can add items to those sales, take another partial payment or full payment, or you can finalize the sale like normal. Another thing that you can do in sales history is adjusting the sale payments and sale details here. So if you want to edit the sale payments, you can go to the sales history and then click the edit button on the sale. And from here, you can edit the payment type, the date, and the amount. And you can also add on account payment. So if you received maybe a cash payment for that sale and you forgot to add it, you can go to the edit page and add the payment manually. There are some restrictions to this. So any gift card payments or integrated payments like Lightspeed payments cannot be edited on this page. So if you do need to take that, you would have to void the sale and then recreate it. And then on top of that, you can add a customer if you forget to add a customer later on, or you can add a note to your sale. Another thing you can do in sales history is voiding a sale. So if you go to sales history and you click on the sale, you'll see the last option here is void. Quite simple, you just click void, and then that's everything. That will return the items back to your inventory, and it will cancel out any payments that were included on that sale. So any reporting that included those sales will automatically be updated. And something to remember is once the sale has been voided, you can't undo that. So if you do void it by mistake, you'll have to recreate the sale manually. So next is going to be the payment report and the register closures report. So first we'll go over using and understanding the payment report. The payment report is actually quite simple and only has a couple of filters that you have to remember. The look of it is very similar. As I mentioned, all of our reporting have the same layout, so you don't have to figure out how to use each report. So the date range is one filter that can be changed in the payment report and also comparison. However, report type and measure will just be added automatically for you. And if you do want to filter the report further, by maybe a specific register or a specific payment type, you can click More Filters, and you can do that here as well. Similar to the other report, if you wanted to exclude information from your report, you can also do that here. So if you only want to see, cash payments, you can add or exclude that information using the More Filters option. So next is how to read the payment report. There's two things I wanted to go over. So first, the report type is going to be in the first section, the measure on the last, and the date range is going to be in the middle. This is going to be included if you added a specific period on your sale. So it will be included here. So if you didn't choose a specific date range yourself, you will get that information here. So it will add the different columns per day. And then if you specify the date yourself, you won't have that included. It will only be included when you're using specified periods. So if you're using, the last 2 weeks, the last day, the last quarter or anything like that, those columns will be included, and they will include a little bit more information if you want to see that on your report. And then if you add a comparison option as well, so if you are comparing the report to a different date range, you will see it as a percentage here. So in this case, we're comparing this date range with this date range. You'll see that in this case, the payments were 53% higher for the cash payment. And again, if you specify the date yourself with the comparison option, you won't see it broken down like this. Since you're specifying the date yourself, that section will not be included. And then, as I mentioned, if you add the specific filters on that report, so in this example, we added only the main register. You can see that that we're only including the information for that specific register. Again, similar to the other report, you can format the results by week, weekday, or hour. And a couple of frequently asked questions on the payment report is, when filtering the payment report by specified period, you will see a breakdown of the dates included the period of time. So for example, a weekly period over 2 weeks will show the first date of each week and the totals for each week. That might not be clear, but it's basically what I was mentioning before. If you use period or for your date range instead of a specific date range, you'll see it broken down further. If you're filtering by date, it will only show you the totals for the day period selected. It is not possible to view the sales themselves per payment type on any report. So that goes for the payment report, inventory report, sales report. All those reports, you can't necessarily go and see each of those sales. You would have to use the sales history for that. And you cannot change the report type or the measure on the payment report. Those will be automatically filled in for you. Next, we're going to go over the register closure report. So this is what the register closure report will show. And it's basically a list of all of the registers in your store and any register closures that happen during the specific date. Any registers that are currently open will be shown at the bottom of the page. So that's something to remember. If you go to the register closures page and you want to see the current open register, you'll have to go to the bottom of the page and the last page. So this is a quick overview of what that looks like. It will include all the payment types that you have, at what time the register was open, when it was closed, and the sequence number. Now, if you click on the register closure itself and you want to see a little bit further what's included, you will see that there is a full summary option. So if you click the view full details at the top of the screen, you'll be able to see every sale that's included on this report. So if at the end of the day you notice that maybe the cash amount is a little bit higher than what you're expecting, you can go into the register closure summary, click view full details, and you'll be able to see every sale that's included. So maybe there was a sale where there was a typo and you took maybe $1,000 cash instead of $100. That's something you'll be able to find here. And then you'll also be able to see when the register was open and closed. Now, further down on the register closure summary, you'll see that it will include a breakdown of all of the totals for the day. So you'll see how many new sales there were. If there were any on-account sales, it will break them down. So any sales that are regular sales and on-account sales will be separated. And then any delivery fees or anything like that, any unfulfilled sales that you have will be broken down as well, and any tax that you paid as well. So you'll also be able to see a breakdown of discounts, gift cards, and then the payments. So it does give you a good overview of your day. And then if you move further down, you'll be able to see all the payments taken broken down. So if you notice any differences on this column here, it means that Lightspeed was expecting, in this case, $21.68 for MasterCard, but you counted $13. You'll be able to see the difference here. So that will all be broken down for you. And then further down, you'll be able to see the cash movements. So that is going to be your float in and your float out for your store. And it will also include any petty cash that you took out or you put back in. So if you had any petty cash taken out, that will be included in cash movements. The closing float will always show a negative amount since it's taking it back from the float at the end of the day. And then at the bottom of the register closure, you're going to see a breakdown of any account sales that you might have in your store. That is, if you use on-account sales or lay-by sales, all of those will be broken down here. You'll be able to see the type of movements that they have. So if it was on a lay-by sale, it will be in the first section. If it was an on-account sale, it will be in the second section. And then you'll be able to see if the sale was started, continued, or fully paid. And then any sale payments or any payments that went toward those sales will be included at the bottom as well. So you can see that's broken down in this section. So if anything is not adding up, it might be a good section to check as well. And the register closures, when you close your register at the end of the day, you'll be given the option to print out that closure. However, if you come back later on and you want to reprint the closures, you can't do that on the register closure report. You'll just have to click on the specific closure that you're looking to print, and then you can print it from there. Something to note is that you can only print one closure at a time. Currently, there's no way to bulk print every closure that you have. So if you want to reprint, you can go to reporting, register closure reports, and then you can click on the closure itself, and you'll have the option to print. So some questions that we have that we get a lot of the time related to registers and register closures is the first one is, why do my registers open automatically? So there's only two scenarios where a register would automatically open in your store. And that would be if you have any third-party integration that's connected to your store. That can be an accounting management system or an e-commerce site. And here's a little explanation of how that might work. So if you have a zero integration in your store and your register is closed at the end of the day, but then later that day you take a payment directly on zero for that for a customer, that payment will be synced back to Lightspeed, and Zero will open the register so that it can add that payment. So if the register has already been closed, the register will open automatically, If the register is already open, it would just add it normally. So that's one scenario where your register will automatically open. Second one is with e-commerce integration. So if you have an e-commerce integration, you close your store for the day, but then overnight you receive a sale from your website. That integration will open your register to be able to create that sale in your store. Second is, why don't my sales and payments match in the two reports? So something to keep in mind is that the register closure shows the total cash counted at the end of the day, where the payments report will show what was expected. So if you took, I'll keep using the cash example. If you took $1,000 in Lightspeed, the payments report would show that amount since that's what's expected, but the register closure will show what was actually counted at the end of the day. Another thing, as I mentioned, if you have an e-commerce integration set up and a sale comes through after hours, that e-commerce integration will open your register, and any sales that come through after that will be included on your next register closure, not on the one that you closed before. So that might be a reason why your payments might be showing a higher amount than your register closure. So if that happens, just have a look at your register closures and see if there's any sales that were included, maybe from the previous day. And this is one reason why we do recommend, if you have an e-commerce integration, it's always a good idea to have a separate register for those sales specifically. Another thing to keep in mind when it comes to discrepancies between sales and payments is on account and lay-by sales revenue is added on the day that the sale was started. However, any payments for those sales will be included on the day that they were taken. So if I started an on-account sale last week, and then that customer came back this week and partially paid for that sale, the on-account sale will be added on last week's report, but the payment itself, or the partial payment that was taken today, will be added on today's date. So that might be another reason why you see a discrepancy between the two. And then incomplete lay-by sales don't actually contribute to the sales report until they are completed. So any partial payments that happen for lay-by sales will appear in the payments report whenever that payment is taken, but the revenue itself is only added to your sales report once that sale is completed. So can be a little bit confusing, but basically on-account sales are added to your sales report on the day they are created. Lay-by sales are added to your sales report on the day they are completed, and then payments are added on the day they are taken, no matter when the actual sale for that payment was created. So I hope that makes sense. And then another reason why you might see a discrepancy is when it comes to tips. So tips do not show automatically on the revenue of your sales report. So you might see different totals between the sales report and the payment report. So the sales report, if you did want to include the tips, we do have a measure for tips specifically. So if you have any discrepancies that you notice and you do take tips in your store, it's a good idea to go into the sales report and change that measure and see if the discrepancies match what that report is showing you. And then the payment report includes tax already in the revenue. So it will include the full payment that the customer made, but the sales report doesn't automatically include tax on the revenue. So if you do want to report on your revenue including tax, just make sure you change the measure to revenue including tax. Another question that we get often is, why doesn't my payments report match my terminal settlement? And there can be a couple of different reasons for that, but it can be the main reason is due to the settlement cutoff period that might be set by your payment processor. So that could be different than the payments report that you're running. So for example, if your payment terminal has a cutoff period of 6 p.m. daily, and you process a sale after 6 p.m., the sale will show in Lightspeed under today's register closure, but your terminal will show that amount on the next day since it happened after the cutoff period. So if you do have any questions about the cutoff period for your specific terminal or payment processor, feel free to reach out to your payment provider to see when that cutoff period is and if you're able to change it. So that could be a reason why your payment report is not matching your specific terminal settlement. Now, when it goes to inventory reporting and average cost, we'll go over both of them separately. So first, the inventory reports. The inventory reports, we do it similar to the sales report. We include preset reports for you that might be useful. So that includes the replenishment, performance, dusty inventory summary, recently out of stock, and the sell-through report. So first is the inventory summary report. You can use that report to see all the stock levels for your products during specific periods. So if you want to see, how much inventory I had for the specific product last month, you can use that. If you want to see the closing inventory at the end of the date range, you can do that as well. So if you want to see how much inventory you had at the end of March, for example, you can use the inventory summary report. And you can also check the average unit cost of each item. So if you want to see the average cost of your products, you would use the summary report as well. The inventory performance report, you can use it to analyze your best sellers. So as the name mentioned, you can see which products are performing well, which products are not, and you can analyze past performances. So if maybe a product is selling really well this year, but not as much, if it's not selling very well this year, but it was last year, then you can analyze that information and make decisions based on that. And with that information, you can plan your promotions and see what products you want to have out on your floor. And then the replacement report, it can be used to make sure that you always have those products that are selling really well in stock. And you can use it to predict when a product might run out. So if you're running a promotion and you want to make sure that you're not running out of that product, you can use the replenishment report to see if it's predicting that product might need more inventory. And if you have any products that are seasonal, you can also use that this report to see what the customer demand was at a specific time. And you can also use it to estimate the cost of an order. The sell-through report can be used to track products over a period of time. So you can see, what you want to order, how often you want to order it. You can see your best performing categories, products, brands, and this will go with all of the inventory reports. Actually, you can filter it by a specific category or a specific brands. And based on this report, you can see how long you expect your product to last based on how it's selling. And then lastly, the dusty inventory report, as the name mentions, you can determine which products are collecting dust and maybe haven't sold for a while. And you might want to put those products on clearance or discontinue those products. On the inventory reports, similar to the sales reports, you can have a couple of different report types available. So the report type, it will allow you to change the information that's pulled into the report. So for example, if you want to only see inventory information for a specific outlet, you can change the report type to that. Or, you can go by supplier or brand. You can use the report type filter. And then for the measures, they are a little bit different from the sales report. You can go by on-hand inventory, low inventory, all inventory, or out of stock. So for example, if you only want to see what products you have on hand, you can use this measure. But if you want to see which products might have a low inventory, you can change the measure to low inventory. So it's the measure. It's something to keep in mind when you're running your inventory reports. And then once you have your inventory created, you do have additional measures that you can add into your report. And I'll go over them quickly, but you'll see two options of this plus sign here on your reports. One will be on the left side, one on the right side. So the first one is you'll be able to add additional measures into your reporting. So if you're running a report, for example, by specific SKU names or products, but you also want to see, what kind of brands they are or the tags that they're using, you can click the plus sign and you'll be able to add, the supplier code, the brand, the tags, everything like that. And then the other option is you can add additional measures to your report. So as you can see here, by default, we include the revenue and the inventory cost, but you might want to add more measures or more information to your report. If you click the plus sign on the right side, you'll see that there is a lot of information that you can include in your report, actually. So the first section is going to be sales information. So here you can add information such as the revenue, sale count. So, how many products or how many times this product has sold, average items per sale for that product. Then if you want to add anything related to products and prices or and value, you also have the options to add that as a separate column in your report. So if you want to see how much the product, the inventory cost or the value of that product, you can add that as well. You also have a section for inventory. So if you want to add additional columns on your reporting and you want to go to see when you started selling that product, or maybe what's the current inventory for that product, you can add that as well. And then you'll have options to add inventory performance information or dates. So if you want to see when that product last sold, you can add that information on your report as well. And then on your inventory reporting, you can add, similar to the other reports, you have an option for more filters. And from here, you can include or exclude any information. And on top of that, with Lightspeed, you are able to make products inactive in your store. So if you have products that you don't necessarily want to delete, but they're not currently active, maybe it's a seasonal product, you can make them inactive. So if you do want to include inactive products in your reporting, clicking more filters will allow you to include those products into your reports. So it's not turned on by default. So something to keep in mind. And then similar to the other reports, you do have format options. So you can arrange the rows by totals, or if you are running a full report and you want to filter it by specific outlets, you can do that. And then the date range is similar to the other reports, but this is the only, the inventory report is the only report where you can have an additional date range. So it is the all-time range. So if you want to see inventory reports for, since you joined Lightspeed, you can add all time, or similar to the other ones, you can specify a period, or you can specify a specific date. And next, average cost. So average cost is something that comes up often. So average cost, what is it? It is the weighted average of the supply prices that the current units of stock on hand were received at. So basically what that means is it's the average of how much the supply price was for a product every time you received it. So if I received the product today and I bought it for $1, and then tomorrow I bought it for $2, the average cost is going to be the average of those two orders that I made. average cost is actually how the cost of goods and stock values figure is calculated. So it's quite an important value. And then average cost is only affected when you use a stock order in Lightspeed. So if you go into the product and just manually change the product supply price and inventory amounts, that will not change your average cost. So we always recommend that you use a stock order whenever you're adding inventory to your products. So if you'd like to see what the average cost for your products is, you can view that in the inventory report. So you can go into inventory reports. Doesn't matter which report type you use, but you can change the report type to SKU name, so you can see each product separately, and then you can add the average cost measure to that product. So you just make sure that's included, and you'll be able to see the average cost for each product. Again, remember the average cost is a weighted cost. So if the cost of one of your products changes, the cost of goods will reflect that. The average cost of the old, the old supply price and the new supply price. So depending how much of a product you currently have that was purchased at the old cost, that might affect your average cost more. So the longer a product sits on the shelf at the original price, the more the average cost will be influenced by that amount. And cost of goods will fully reflect the new purchase cost when the quantity of the products purchased at the old cost is 0. So if you created a product and you always received that and kept the supply price as 0, when you receive the new product and you change the supply price to something higher, cost of goods will reflect both of those values. So it's always good to keep your cost correct for your products. And then lastly is the tax report. So the tax report, it displays all the tax rates in your store, the percentage of the tax, and the amount that was collected. And then the revenue that figure that's included in this report will be including tax. Similar to the other reports, you can specify specific date range. And something to keep in mind is that only admin users have access to that report. Similar to the other reports, you can add, include or exclude any products or any outlets to your tax report. So if you only want to see one specific outlet, you can filter it down by that filter. And that's everything that we have today. We're, I think, right on time, so that's perfect. So just a reminder that there is a short questionnaire related to this webinar at the end. Yeah, just thank you for attending today. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to our support team.